Welcome to today's episode of the Brooklynite TV podcast, everyone, where I'm once again going to dive into the current issue shaping our world, the particularly alarming situation that has been making headlines in recent weeks, mysterious drones flying over critical areas reportedly coming from Iran. There are growing fears that these drones could be carrying dangerous payloads or even chemicals. What exactly are we afraid of? Why are we hesitating to shoot them down? And what are the potential consequences if we continue to remain passive in the face of this threat? We'll also discuss a troubling rumor that these drones could be hunting for lost nuclear weapons or dirty bombs potentially missing for decades. Is there any truth to this, or is it all just a conspiracy theory? With tensions high, at a boiling point, it feels like the Biden administration is just fumbling through this crisis. Is this something that we could just ignore until January 20th, or is it a ticking time bomb that we need to address now? So buckle up as we unpack these issues and more. First, everybody, let's talk about these drones. According to various news outlets, unidentified drones believed to be coming from Iran have been spotted flying over sensitive areas in the United States and other nations. The scary part, authorities are unsure of what they're carrying, but there's concerns that they could be carrying hazardous materials, chemical payloads, or even weapons of mass destruction. If that's not concerning, the big question here is, why are we so hesitant to take action? Why are military and government officials so cautious about shooting them down? To answer this, let's step back and think about the nature of the drones. Again, they're small, hard to detect, and can be equipped with almost anything. They're essentially flying surveillance devices often used in modern warfare to avoid putting humans at risk. The fact that these drones may be coming from Iran only complicates matters. So with so much uncertainty surrounding the intentions behind these drones, the risks of miscalculations are terrifying. But here's where I have to ask, why are we hesitating to shoot them down? Why? Sure, there's a chance they may be carrying dangerous payloads, but the question remains, are we going to sit idly by and wait for something catastrophic to happen? I'm not sure how much more evidence we need to show that this is a serious threat. If we continue to let these drones fly unchecked, what kind of message does that send? It feels like we're waiting for a crisis to explode before we can make a decision, and I can't understand why. So let's take a moment to discuss the administration's response, or perhaps lack of response. The Biden administration has been criticized for not having a clear strategy to address the situation. Sure, they're saying that they're monitoring the situation and they're concerned about the potential for hostile actions, but the response feels lackluster. These drones have been flying around for weeks now, yet the White House is still tiptoeing around a decisive action. So what's going on? Do they really know what to do, or are they just afraid of the political fallout? We know that in a situation like this, quick decisive action is critical. But the Biden administration seems to be operating under a cloud of uncertainty, not wanting to escalate tensions further, but also not offering a clear solution to the problem at hand. And I don't know about you, but this situation feels like we're on the edge of something bigger, and the longer we wait, the more vulnerable we become. And that vulnerability is something we simply cannot afford. And then there's a big issue of time. It's not like we're sitting back on our heels because there's plenty of time to figure things out. No, the clock is ticking. And January 20th, the day the next president takes office, is right around the corner. Whether you love or hate President Biden, there's no denying that the world can change in an instant, and we can't afford to wait. Imagine the damage that could be done between now and then if we continue to leave things unchecked. By the time we finally have new leadership in place, it could be too late. People are starting to talk about the potential consequences of not taking any action anytime soon. Drones are a serious threat, and if we don't address them head on, we're allowing a dangerous precedent to be set. And if these drones can fly around freely, what's stopping other nations or even terrorist organizations from doing the same thing in the future? Once the genie's out of the bottle, there's no putting it back. Now let's dive into a disturbing rumor that's circulating around the internet, and I'll be honest, this one's a doozy. Some are claiming that these drones aren't just random acts of espionage or surveillance. Instead, there's a darker theory emerging. People are saying that these drones could be searching for missing nuclear weapons or dirty bombs, specifically weapons that went missing from Ukraine over 20 years ago. And I know this sounds like something straight out of a spy novel or a political thriller, but hear me out. The theory goes that after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Ukraine was left with a number of nuclear warheads. Some of these weapons were reportedly unaccounted for when the country declared its independence. There are whispers that some of these warheads may have been lost or hidden away, possibly falling into the hands of rogue states or terrorist groups. Now enter Iran and these drones. Could it be that these drones are being sent to search for these lost weapons? Is this all part of some shadowy international hunt for nuclear material that's been sitting out in the wild for decades? I can't say for certain, but the idea that these drones are connected to something like this seriously makes the situation all the more chilling. So what's really going on here? What's really going on here? Are we dealing with an isolated incident, or is there something much bigger unfolding behind the scenes? If these drones are indeed searching for lost nukes, that raises the stakes dramatically. We're no longer just talking about surveillance or chemical warfare. We could be talking about nuclear weapons in the wrong hands. The risks of this are unfathomable. But again, we're left in the dark. We don't know exactly what the hell is going on here, what these drones are up to, and what we're waiting for from a response from the government. They may never come, or if it does come, it may come too little too late. So here's the bottom line, people. We can't afford to keep waiting for a disaster to unfold. These drones are a clear and present danger, and the Biden administration's hesitance to take decisive action is nothing short of frustrating. Whether they're carrying dangerous chemicals, looking for lost nukes, or just conducting surveillance, the threat they represent is very real. We could talk about Trump and the incoming administration, but how can we wait until January 20th? If we don't address this now, we might not even have a next administration to look forward to. We're playing a dangerous game here by leaving these drones unchecked. The longer we sit back and do nothing, the more vulnerable we become. So what should we do? First and foremost, we need a clear, unified strategy to deal with these drones. We need to know exactly what they're carrying and where they're coming from. And if necessary, take immediate action to stop them before it's too late. It's time for bold leadership, not dithering and indecision. And as far as the rumors about lost nuclear weapons are concerned, well, if there's any truth to that, it's a wake-up call. And we can't afford to let dangerous materials roam free. And we can't let rogue states and terrorist groups have the opportunity to access them. So there you have it, people, an unsettling situation, to say the least, with high stakes and no easy answers. But one thing is clear, we need action, and we need action now. Whether it's dealing with these drones chemically or nuclear weapons, we can't afford to wait any longer. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you have any thoughts on this issue or anything else to say that we haven't discussed today, I'd love to hear from you. Smash that subscribe button, because I'm going to try my best to keep you updated. Again, people, stay safe and stay vigilant. I'll see you here on the next episode. Thanks for listening.